What's up, everybody? Welcome into 49ers Live. Happy Wednesday to you. I'm Joe Fan, joined by my guy, Kyle Juszczyk, the new fullback of the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle, welcome in studio, man. Happy to have you here. How are things been? 2 months now, I think, right?
Yeah, it's been 2 months that have flown by. It's been phenomenal, man. Really enjoyed every second of it.
Midwest guy, go to the East Coast for college, stay with the Ravens. Now you're on the West Coast. What are your first impressions?
First impressions have been great. I always wanted to see what it was like to live out on the West Coast. Everybody talks it up so much and says what the sun can really do for you. And all the hype was real. It's lived up to expectations. It's been phenomenal.
You're in the middle of OTAs. You just started the first week. Is it good to get back to football now after so long? Just workouts. You're going against air. You can't go against anybody. Now you get that competition back in the fold in the offseason program.
Yeah, it's great. You mentioned competition. As football players, we're all competitors. And, we can compete against one another in drills. I can try to outlift this guy and try to outrun this guy, but nothing compares to being on the football field and really competing in football.
Yeah.
And it's great to be back out there doing that.
I got to call it the attire real quick. I mean, tucking in the sleeves, sun's out, guns out. I mean, are we in a competition with Eric Reed for, biggest arms on the team or what? Just avoiding the farmer's tan?
Hey, like I said, we're in California. We need to embrace the sun.
Look at that.
I'm not used to having so much of my arms covered up, so I had to let them out a little bit.
Like the Incredible Hulk. Tell me about this coaching staff. I know that that you came here, a huge part of it was Kyle Shanahan and his offense and where you feel like you can thrive in what he does and his ability to make the most out of his skill players and a lot of different skill players and use them in different ways. And so now that you're getting to see that on the practice field, in meeting rooms, is it as advertised?
Absolutely. Kyle has been phenomenal. And, I've talked with a lot of the guys on the team, even defensive guys, when they've gotten the chance to hear Coach speak on the field. It's really incredible, his knowledge for the game. His understanding of literally every position on the field and how to take advantage of defenses and how to put you in the best position to succeed. It's been very impressive.
The sense I get from the guys I've talked to is that when you get into a meeting room, and not just offensive tape, but defensive tape, and he's telling you this guy was successful on this play because of this, which affected everything all the way on this side. I mean, I don't know X's and O's of it, but when you hear someone, you feel like there's where the credibility comes from when he can talk about it on that level.
No, that's it exactly. He'll point to a position that, the average eye or even a lot of us who, we look at football every day. You would never expect that, that guy in the backside had such a huge part in that play, and it just seems so obvious to him.
If you have any questions for Kyle Juszczyk, send them in. We'll take some questions live. We'll take a first one from Bert, who wants to know why 44, something you had in Baltimore with the Ravens, and you've kept it now in San Francisco.
Yeah, I wore it in college. I showed up my freshman year and I had number 90 hanging in my locker, and I was scared they would move me to defense. But
someone forget to tell me.
Yeah,
something.
Unfortunately, that was just all they had available at the time. So quickly after my freshman year, I needed to switch to a skill position number, and Dallas Clark was a big fan of mine, or I was a big fan of him when I was a kid. So I used that a little bit as inspiration to say, okay, I like the way he played, fan of his, 44 will work out.
And a great career. You having a great career yourself. Your first Pro Bowl last year. John Lynch in that press conference was the famous quote, he's an offensive weapon, right? He's the highest paid fullback in the league, but he's also a tight end, and we're going to call him an OW, an offensive weapon. Did he say that to you in his pitch to get you here, or were you sitting there up in the press conference like, all right?
No, the press conference was the first time I had heard that term, but I was very pleased to hear it. That was music to my ears. I've never been just a fullback. I've always played a lot of different positions. So for him, our GM and someone who's had as much success as he has had in the NFL to, recognize that and put that out there for everybody, I felt like that was a huge compliment to me and something I was really grateful for.
Tight end, fullback, H-back, whatever you want to call you. I mean, you do so many things and wear so many different hats, but if I put you on the spot and say, is there something you can at least say you're good at it all and you pride yourself in versatility, but something that you enjoy the most, whether it's catching passes out of the backfield, lead blocking, carrying the rock?
I think everyone's has to say that catching the football and having the football in your hands is more fun than anything. We all embrace our role in blocking, and it is something enjoyable, but there's nothing better than catching that ball and trying to make guys miss.
So now the weather's starting to get nice. Have you gotten to check out the Bay Area a little bit?
Yeah.
Your new home. What's your favorite spot so far?
I've explored a little bit. Went down to the Santa Cruz boardwalk and actually enjoyed that a lot.
Nice.
Great place if you're looking for a cheat day.
Okay. Yep.
Probably every bad carnival food you could possibly imagine was there. I enjoyed that a lot. I like the Palo Alto area a lot. I'm a huge I don't know if you've ever been to Sweet Green.
Yeah.
Huge Sweet Green fan. It was somewhere I went all the time in Baltimore, and that's the closest one we have around here.
You're on social media, right? Juszczyk 44.
Yep.
So if you have Bay Area questions or suggestions, I should say, send it over to this guy. But again, Midwest native. You're from Ohio. Look at what, 30 minutes outside of Cleveland. So like kind of the elephant in the room here as we're nearing the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
A Cavs fan, I assume.
Cavs fan. Yep.
I mean, we won't hold it against you. I'm a Sonics fan, so I got no dog in the fight. Have we been keeping that quiet around here? I mean,
I haven't really voiced it too much. I kind of keep it to myself.
I don't mean to call you out.
Yeah.
I know Eli is a Cavs fan as well, so maybe you two can band together a little bit.
Eli warned me early on. He said, don't let the fans know that you're a LeBron fan because you're gonna lose a lot of followers.
But Steph Curry probably close number 2 now that you're here. Maybe?
I respect Steph Curry, and I actually enjoy watching the Warriors a lot. So it's going to be a really great finals to watch.
Going into the finals, again, we're assuming that Cleveland closes it out and wins their 4th game. Is it KD, Steph, Clay? Who scares you the most on that team?
I mean, it's tough. They have a lot of weapons. But I feel like Steph Curry is kind of their guy, and I feel like he's their number 1 threat.
Got it. And then looking up in your bio at Harvard, you're in math club in high school. Were you like hardcore math club? I know you have 3 sports. You got a lot going on, but how does math club fit in?
So I took AP Calculus, and the whole class was in the Ohio Math League, and I think it was just like once a week. We took this test, and if you scored a certain amount of points, you could get extra credit.
There you go.
But I enjoyed it. Math was my favorite subject growing up,
and I'm guessing that's why economics at Harvard.
Yeah, I originally was going to be a mathematics major, and it was my.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds terrible.
My freshman year, it was okay. I didn't get into too many high-level math courses, but when I got into my second year and I walked into some of those classrooms, and I realized that it just wasn't going to happen. So,
what was the hardest class you took at Harvard? What was that when you sat down, you saw here's the syllabus, like, oh dear God, I'm in trouble here.
It was this economics statistics class. It was called econometrics. And
econometrics.
Yeah.
Also sounds awful.
A lot of the guys on the team were all in it together, and I'm pretty sure if we didn't have each other, we wouldn't have made it through there because that was one brutal class.
Do you ever get sick of people asking you about Harvard?
I don't get sick of it. It's interesting. You hear the name Harvard, and
yeah. I mean, you gotta understand where we're coming from. Like, for me, it's like my parents didn't even put that on the table. Like, right, you gotta be a good parent. Like, you can do anything, but it's except for probably go to Harvard, right? Like, it might as well have been Hogwarts. I wasn't going to either. Like, you're basically Harry Potter. Like, you did it, which is so cool. Yeah. And you have Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's like everyone knows Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard, and I'm guessing here comes Kyle Juszczyk. He scores a touchdown. By the way, he went to Harvard.
Yeah. I think the only frustrating thing is that you go around the room. Hey, where'd you go to school? I went to Ohio State. I went to Michigan State. Where'd you go? I went to Harvard. Oh, Harvard. It's like, I don't know how else you want me to say it. That's where I went.
That's pretty good. And you got Solomon Thomas, Joshua Garnett from Stanford. So there's some brainiacs on the team a little bit. Did you ever meet Jeremy Lin? I know you guys crossed over a little bit, but he's another big name Harvard athlete.
Yep.
And I know he's a little bit older than you, but you guys crossed paths for a year maybe?
Yeah. My freshman year on campus, he was a senior, and
both economics majors?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Didn't share any classes, but I saw him in the weight room a lot together, and he was a well-respected guy around campus.
That must have been kind of a thrill to be on campus amid Linsanity that like quite literally took over the sports world for like 3 weeks in New York. I mean, he's putting up buckets, game winners. You're at Harvard. It must have been quite a thrill for, I mean, I can't imagine that's a common feeling at that campus.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we put a lot of athletes into professional sports, but they're not particularly the stars of that sport. So for a couple months there, you know, we kind of had the star, and it was cool. It definitely a little bit of camaraderie around the campus because of it.
Is there a biggest misconception about Harvard? Again, like we all put it on this pedestal, like it's this far and distant place that.
Right. I mean, I think everybody asked me, you know, like, how hard were the classes? Like, you know, were the people weird there? And the people weren't. They're very normal.
Okay.
The people were very normal, and yeah, the classes were hard. But it's, you know, it's like anything. You learn how to adapt.
We've got one from Kevin. Appreciate you guys tuning in and asking Kyle Juszczyk some of your questions. Kevin wants to know, how has your training evolved since you've entered the NFL?
You know what? It's changed a lot. In college, you're just so focused on, you know, putting on mass and just getting as strong as I can, getting as fast as I can. And your first couple years in the NFL, it's pretty similar. But now that I'm going into year 5, I'm always trying to improve, but I'm also keeping in mind just trying to prevent injury and recovering from the season before. You know, I was playing 10-game seasons at Harvard. I basically play 2 seasons every year in the NFL compared to what I was doing in college. So a lot of it is just recovering from the season before and making sure that I'm going to be able to make it through the next one.
And I'm curious, 4 years in Baltimore, and then you come here, and so you're the new guy for the first time in the NFL, but is that maybe a little bit easier of a transition because there are a lot of new guys this year? From the front office to the coaching staff to the locker room, there are more new guys. Daniel Kilgore said yesterday, I think it's just me and Joe Staley hanging out from the old regime. I mean, does that ease the transition a little bit when you have so many people who are going through it together? I mean, the press conference alone, you had 7 deep in terms of free agents who are signing here.
Yeah, I think it's helped a lot, actually. You know, a lot of conversations of like, oh, you know, have you found a spot to live yet? Have you, you know, I'm looking over here. And, you know, when you start walking around the weight room asking, you know, getting to know guys, how long have you been here? Well, I'm new here too.
Yeah.
It's just something you all kind of bond on. And it has made the transition a little easier.
With that, I mean, that first blush, you might think, okay, there's so many new faces, so you're not going to have chemistry. Leadership's probably going to be hard to come by. It's going to trying to figure out who they are. You know, new coaching staff trying to get their bearings, new front office. But when you talk to people, it doesn't sound like that's the case. It seems like practices are going smoothly. Guys are enjoying the competition of workouts in the weight room with Ray Wright.
Yeah.
And there's a cohesiveness in terms of like this thing is headed in the right direction.
In a weird way, I feel like it's kind of brought us closer. You know, I think Coach Shanahan and John Lynch have done such a great job of bringing in a particular type of person. And I feel like we're all so similar in that way. And I feel like everyone here just wants to do better and, you know, get this thing on the right track. And I think it's gone a long way for all of us just really, you know, coming together.
All right, enough of the softballs as we continue to get to know Juszczyk 44 as he's known. Juszczyk, am I saying that?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. We got some fun personality questions here just to kind of get to know you, what you're into off the field. Let's start with music.
Yeah.
What are you listening to on a daily basis before a game? What's the mix?
Man, I'm really all over the place. You know, I like alternative, I like rap, I like R&B, I like pop. So if I'm at the house, I usually turn on the pop chill out playlist on Spotify. Check that out. It's a good list.
And then what about pregame?
Pregame, I crank it up a little bit more. I feel like I go a little more rap, hip hop.
What's the best concert you've been to? Because with a wide spectrum, that could be a lot of different things. So I think that's always an interesting
Never
one.
been to a concert.
Wow.
Yeah.
We need to get you to a concert.
Yeah, I know. That's
like
my girlfriend's on me about it all the time.
Quickly, like Oracle, here, Levi's Stadium, SAP Center, Shoreline. Like, there's going to be a lot of options for you, man.
I know. I'm excited that there seems to be some good places to check out.
Operation Get Kyle Juszczyk to a concert. A couple more here. Movies. Are you a big movie buff?
Yeah, I enjoy movies a lot. I'm more of a TV show guy.
Okay, then give me the top series. I won't make you pick one, but...
Ooh, well, I'll give you just right now, because
Okay.
I've watched a lot of TV shows. Right now, I'd say Shameless.
Okay.
I've just been crushing Shameless on Netflix. Hysterical show.
Okay, this one I think tells a lot about a person. You're on a road trip.
Yep.
You're stopping at a gas station to fill up, and you need a snack. What are you getting?
Probably gonna grab black coffee.
Okay.
And I'm big on corn nuts.
Okay. Ranch?
Ranch, yeah. All the way.
All the way. All right, last one. This is a tough one. If you were a superhero, what would be your superhero name?
Superhero name. I feel like it'd have to do something with juice.
Captain Juice?
I can dig that.
Yeah?
Captain Juice.
Let's roll with it. And what does Captain Juice do? What's like the main...
I mean, I always felt like flying would be a huge advantage.
Okay.
You know, if I could fly at a high speed where I'm really just getting to anywhere I need to be in an instant.
Oh my gosh, there goes Captain Juice.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm really saving anybody, but
Get from A to B.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. We'll get you out of here, man. Big Memorial Day weekend plans.
Yeah.
You gonna get out of town maybe and
yeah, I gotta go
enjoy some time away?
Yeah, go hang out with the family out on the East Coast.
Good work, man.
Yeah.
Well, you deserve the time off. Any message for the fans as they kind of get to know you? Maybe it's your excitement being here and looking forward to the season.
Man, just super excited to be here. You know, I think we're building something great, and I'm really looking forward to this season and just really getting everything started.
Kyle, appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Kyle Juszczyk, I'm Joe Fan. Appreciate you tuning in. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. But first, a little teaser it. Navarro Bowman mic'd up at OTAs.
What's up, Mike? How you doing? Good. Yeah, I'm mic'd up.
Is this thing on? Microphone check, 1 2 1 2.